Good morning, everybody. In today's assembly, we're talking about remembrance. As you'll all know, today is the 11th of November, and indeed it was the 11th of November 1918 at 11 a.m. when the First World War drew to an end. Poppies, the symbol of remembrance in this country, thrive naturally in the mud churned up by the fighting in World War I. Since that time, we've used this symbol and this day to remember all those people who've suffered in conflicts, fighting for this country, living in this country, over the course of the last 100 years. Wars are often depicted as big, grand, massive affairs, and that's true, they are. But they have real impacts on real people, on an individual, personal level. And every family in this country can talk about how they and their family were impacted by fighting and conflict. In my own family, we sometimes talk about this man, my great-grandfather, Leonard Wright. He fought in World War I and was shot and wounded at the Somme. He, like many other people, wrote to his family to keep them up to date with what was going on and how he was living his life. Just before he went to fight in the fields of France, he wrote to the man who would become my grandfather to say, "I don't know what the Hun has in store for me, but I ask you, take care of your mother. I will be forever in your debt from your ever-loving father." My great-grandfather sent that letter. My grandfather received it and read it. Not many days later, my great-grandfather Leonard was shot in the neck by a German machine gun, and he would die from those wounds sometime after the war. That story is unique to my family, but that story is also a common one. Lots of people were affected by the fighting and conflict, and lots of people wrote to share stories about how they were experiencing the war. We're going to hear now some of those voices from the past. The first is a letter recorded by our students from schoolboy Patrick Blunston to his father, talking about a German raid via a Zeppelin on his town in World War I.
Dear Daddy, I hope you're not alarmed. You should not be, unless you know where one of the Zeps went. I heard that it raided London up the Strand and caused heavy casualties, but this I know because I saw, and so did everyone else in the house. Here's my story. I heard the clock strike 11 o'clock. I was just in bed and going to sleep. Between 2 o'clock and 2:30 o'clock, Lily the servant woke Miss Willie and told her she could hear the guns. We were all awake by now. We had heard Mrs. Blair staying with us for the weekend. She saw flashes and then heard bangs and pops. Suddenly, a bright yellow light appeared and died down again. "Oh, it's all right," said Pullman. "It's only a star shell." That light appeared again, and we, Miss Blair, Pullman, and I, rushed to the window and looked out. There, right above us, was the Zepp. It had broken in half and was like this. It was in flames, roaring and crackling. It went slightly to the right and crashed down into a field. It was about 100 yards away from the house and directly opposite us. It nearly burnt itself out when it was finished by the Chestnut Fire Brigade. I would rather not describe the condition of the crew. Of course, they were dead. Burnt to death. They were roasted. There is absolutely no other word for it. They were brown like the outside of roast beef. One had his legs off. At the knees, you could see the joints.
The Zepp was bombed from an aeroplane above, with an incendiary bomb by Lieutenant Robertson. We have some relics, some wire and wood framework. The weather is beastly, but Mrs. and Mrs. Willie are jolly people. Hoping you are all well, love to all, your loving son Patrick. Please don't be alarmed. All is well that ends well, and this did for us.
The next voice from the past we'll hear is sailor Teddy Ashton, writing to his sister Gertie in the middle of World War I.
Dear Gertie, I have written 2 or 3 times recently, so you may get them together. We've been very busy for the last few weeks and have got through a great amount of work. We are much better off again as regards potatoes and other foodstuffs, for we have had a great quantity of stores. I fancy we shall be here for a time.
You will see I am telling you the same things over and over again. At least I know I've told you them once or twice, but everything about is all of the same this kind of thing. Ships here, there and everywhere now, but soon we shall have a move. That is when we can get through the White Sea. We shall have to look after all the shipping.
The snow is fast disappearing now. I came across an article in the paper the other day about the district, and it said that 14 or 15 years ago, bears used to roam around here, but there seems to be nothing around here except from wildfowl, which are very numerous. I believe salmon are numerous at certain times of the year.
The 2nd and 3rd of May, we had a terrific snow blizzard. We should have left the ship to go away and do some work on another ship, but we could not get away from our ship. It was so rough. We had no night now. The sun goes down, but it's never dark. It's eternally daylight.
Of course, I told you, we have had an entire change round and I have a new job now, part of the ship. I have not half the time I used to have, but I enjoy the robust work much better, and I get to see much more with working away. We get up at 6:30 and work until 1, so we put a few hours in, don't we? That is when we are working away.
Did you get the £1 I remitted? Let me know. I've remitted another £3 this month. Let me know if you received this also. I shall probably send a little more next month, or later. Don't hold the paper money, bank it or keep it by you in gold until I come home. Tell Dad I shall to him as soon as I can get enough to tell him about. Give my best love to everyone at home. I often think about you all. I am yours ever, Ted.
The final letter is from Emily Chittix, writing to her fiancé, Private William Martin. Like so many couples, so many families, they've been torn apart by war, but she wanted to write to him to let him know how she felt.
My dearest Will, I feel I must write to you again, dear, although there is not much news to tell you. I wonder how you're getting on. I shall be so relieved to get a letter from you. I can't help feeling a bit anxious, dear. I know how you must have felt, darling, when you did not get my letters for so long. Of course, I know, dear, you will write as soon as you can, but the time seems so dull and weary without any news of you. If only this war was over, dear, and we were together again. It will be one day, I suppose.
Don't think, dear, I am worrying unnecessarily about you, because I know God can take care of you wherever you are, and if it is His will, darling, He will, so you are, to come back to me. That's how I feel about it, dear. If we only put our trust in Him, I am sure He will. I wonder how your cousins are getting on, dear. We are feeling very anxious about George, as no news have come from him yet. We can't understand why his wife won't write. How are your hands now, dear? Mine are very sore, so chapped, and my left hand has gotten several chilblains on it, and so they do irritate. I could scratch it to bits. Have you been receiving the books I have sent you, dear? I am very pleased to say I am keeping it very well indeed, and I trust you are the same.
There has been a bit of a fuss over Arthur this week. He has been trying to get in the army unbeknown to his parents. But Mrs. T thought his parents ought to be informed about it, so she wrote and told them about him, and he had to go home in hot haste last night. I guess he got it in a fine row, but he won't say it today. He is as miserable as anything. Really, Will, I never saw such a boy as he is. I'm afraid he is going to the bad. I don't know if Mrs. T will keep him on or not. He says he has to join up in a fortnight, but as he is underage, I suppose his parents could stop him. I don't know whether they will or not. For my part, I hope he does go. He will be a jolly good riddance. Well, darling, I don't know much more to say now. So we'll close with fondness, love, and kisses from your loving little girl, Emily. P.S. Cheers up, darling, and don't worry about me. I'm quite all right, only anxious to get your letters. There is good news in the papers. Love from Mum and Dad.
Our final reading is not a letter, but a poem. For the Fallen was written by Lawrence Binion in World War I to commemorate many of the people who lost their lives. It includes that famous line, "We will remember them." Today is about remembering all the people who've lost their lives, sacrificed much, so we can enjoy our freedoms here today.
Thanksgiving, a mother for her children. England mourns for dead across the sea. Flesh of her flesh, they were spirit of her spirit, fallen in the cause of the free.
Solemn the drums thrill, death, august and royal, sings sorrow in the immortal spheres. There is music in the midst of desolation, and the glory that shines upon our tears.
They went with the songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limbs, true eyes, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odd uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them.
They mingle not with their laughing comrades again. They sit no more at familiar tables of home. They have no lot in our labour of the daytime. They sleep beyond England's foam.
But whereas our desires and our hopes profound, felt as a wellspring that is hidden from sight, to the innermost heart of their land, they are known as the stars known to the night.
As the stars that shall be bright when we are dust, moving in marches upon the heavenly plain, as the stars that are starry in the time of our darkness, to the end they remain.